Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I'm going to show you how to crochet this tortoise. So if you've never crocheted before, take a look at my videos about how to do single crochet and how to crochet in the round. If you'd like the written version of this pattern, it's on my website and I'll leave a link in the description. So you're going to need a 3mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, a stitch marker, some pins to help with sewing, and some 6mm black safety eyes. So you can buy them in packs of different sizes like this. And then these are the plastic backs that go with them. You also need some scissors and a measuring tape and some stuffing. You'll need double knit yarn in light brown, yellow or gold, dark brown and black. So we're going to start with the head in light brown and we're going to make a magic ring. So just take that short tail out and put it by the side there. And then for round one, we're going to do 6 single crochet in the magic ring. So do your single crochet underneath both of those strands there. Count the V's to count your stitches, and then pull on that short tail to gather the stitches together and close the magic ring. And then put the marker in this stitch here. Round 2, we're going to do an increase in every stitch. So an increase is 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and we'll have 12 stitches at the end of this round. So take out the marker and do your last increase. And the marker goes back in the last stitch you did. So you can count your stitches and make sure you've got 12. And this is how you count your rounds, so 1 and 2. Round 3, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do an increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that 6 times, so the part in brackets is repeated the number of times stated, and we'll have 18 stitches at the end of the round. So take the marker out and do your last increase. Rounds 4 to 7, that's 4 rounds that we're going to single crochet in every stitch. So we're not increasing or decreasing, we're just maintaining 18 stitches in each round. So I've sped up the first round just to show you, and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done all 4 rounds. Okay, so I've done all 4 rounds, and you can count your rounds from round 1, and you can find your last increase round here because you can see the increase there, and then you should have 4 rounds after that. So now we're going to insert the safety eyes between rounds 4 and 5, and we're going to have them 4 stitches apart. So they have to be on the correct side of the head. So you can see we've got this inner curve, and then we have to have them facing outwards on the right side. So if you look at the top of the head, you can see this part of the spiral of your rounds, and this should be on the right hand side at the bottom. So just make sure it's that way up, and then count your rounds from that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between rounds 4 and 5 here, keeping it the right way up. So they're a bit like a screw, so you just push it in and then twist it as you're pushing it in, and you want it to be flat against the edge of the work. And then we're going to count 4 stitches away and put in the other safety eye between rounds 4 and 5. So you want 4 visible stitches in between the eyes. And when you're happy with it, we're going to put the backs on. So push it inside out so you've got access to the back. And the backs go on this way round, so the small hole end on this way round. And push it down until you hear 2 or 3 clicks until it's all the way pushed down. And push it the right way out again. And you can tuck that short tail from the magic ring inside. And we're going to be stuffing this as we go, but not quite yet. Round 8, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease, and I'll show you how to do that. And we're going to do that 3 times, and we'll have 15 stitches at the end of the round. So first of all, do your 4 single crochet. To do an invisible decrease, we're going to be working the front loops only. So this is the front loop because it's closest to you, and this is the back loop because it's furthest away. So pick up the front loop of the next stitch, and then pick up the front loop of the stitch next to that. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So that's an invisible decrease, and it's decreased by 1. You can see the back loops left over on the inside, and you can see this diagonal piece. So we don't want to go into that. We want to go under the V of the next proper stitch. And then we just repeat that twice more. So 4 single crochet, invisible decrease. So they're not actually completely invisible. You can see there's a difference, and that helps when you need to count how many stitches you've got in between them. So take the marker out when you've got 2 stitches remaining and do your last invisible decrease. Rounds 9 to 10, that's 2 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 15 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done 2 rounds. Okay, so I've done those 2 rounds now. You can find your last invisible decrease round and then count 2 after that. So we're going to start stuffing it as we go now. So just push it inside and just try not to stuff it really close to the edge where you're going to be working, because you don't want it to get caught in our stitches. Round 11, we're going to increase in the next stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease. Then single crochet in the next stitch. And do another invisible decrease. And then single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and we should have 15 stitches at the end of the round. So what we've done here is we've done the same number of increases and decreases in one round, and so they cancel each other out, and we haven't actually decreased or increased the number of stitches. And the reason we're doing this is we're putting the increases on one side and the decreases on the other, so that we get the curved shape that we want. Round 12, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then invisible decrease. Then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and then invisible decrease. and then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and again we've still got 15 stitches at the end of this round. So you can see that the curve is becoming more apparent now. Round 13, we're going to increase in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease, and single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease and single crochet in the next stitch, and we should have 15 stitches at the end of the round. Round 14, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do an increase, and we're going to do that 4 times, so the parting brackets 4 times. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then invisible decrease. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we should have 18 stitches at the end of the round. So you can sort of stretch it out a little bit and continue stuffing as you go. Now we're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. So about this long. And this is how you fasten off. So wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it all the way through the loop, and then put on the end to tighten it. So now we're going to make the mouth. So cut a 20cm long piece of black yarn and tie a double knot near the end of it. So one knot on top of the other. Then thread that onto your needle. And come up through the opening. And you can see it's just 2 lines in a wide V shape. So we're going to come out between round 7 and 8. So count from the top of the head and come out near the inside edge of that eye. And then we're just going to do a diagonal line going across 1 round. So go in near the middle and then come out near the inside edge of the other eye. And then go back in where you came out of to make that wide V shape. And then we're going to find a loop on the inside of a stitch on the last round. Go through it, but not all the way. Leave a loop and go through that loop from behind. And pull tight to make a knot. And that's just how we fasten off when we're sewing. Now you can trim that tail because it's a bit long and tuck the rest of it inside. So now we're going to start making the body, and the first 3 rounds are exactly the same as the first 3 rounds of the head. So I've left the instructions on the screen and you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done them. Round 4, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do an increase in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Then we're going to increase in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And we'll have 24 stitches at the end of the round. So we want the body to be an oval shape. So what we're doing here is we're putting all of our increases on either end. So they're not increased evenly like you would do if you were making a circle. Okay, so you can see the oval shape now, and we're just going to continue with that. Round 5, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that twice. Then single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Then single crochet in the next stitch and increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that 3 times. Then single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and we should have 30 stitches at the end of the round. Round 6, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that twice. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches and increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that twice. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and we'll have 36 stitches at the end of the round. Round 7, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 9 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then increase in the next stitch, and we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and we'll have 42 stitches at the end of the round. Round 8, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, then increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that twice. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 10 stitches, then increase in the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, then increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that twice. then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and we'll have 48 stitches at the end of the round. So this is the last round of increasing. And now we're going to round those edges off. So rounds 9 to 11, that's 3 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 48 stitches in every round. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done the rounds. Okay, so I've done those 3 rounds now. You can find your last increase and count 3 after that. Round 12, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, then invisible decrease, and we're going to do that 6 times so that we have 42 stitches at the end of the round. So we're actually decreasing evenly in multiples of 6 now. So I'm just going to show you the first set, and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done the round. Round 13, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, then we're going to do an invisible decrease. We'll do that 6 times and we'll have 36 stitches at the end of the round. Now we're going to start stuffing it as we go. So again, just make sure you don't overstuff it at this stage because we don't want it to get caught in our stitches. Round 14, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, then we're going to do an invisible decrease. We'll do that 6 times and we'll have 30 stitches at the end of the round. Round 15, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then we're going to do an invisible decrease. We'll do that 6 times and we'll have 24 stitches at the end of the round. So just keep stuffing it as you go. Round 16, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then we're going to do an invisible decrease. We'll do that 6 times and we'll have 18 stitches at the end of the round. Round 17, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, then we're going to do an invisible decrease. We'll do that 6 times and we'll have 12 stitches at the end of the round. So last little bits of stuffing going in now. Round 18, we're going to do an invisible decrease 6 times. So it helps to keep your finger behind the stitches in that hole there. And this is a little bit fiddly. So we'll just have 6 stitches at the end of the round, and this is the last round. So now we're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail. And we're going to thread that tail onto our needle, and we're going to close that hole. So we're going to come up through the front loop only of each of those last 6 stitches from the outside like this. And then pull tight to gather those stitches together and close the hole. And then to fasten off, we're going to find a loop nearby and go through it, but not all the way. Leave a loop and go through that loop from behind and pull tight to make a knot. And then we're going to weave that tail in through the middle of the hole and pull tight to make sure it's flattened. And then cut the yarn close to the edge of the work and use the end of your needle to push that end inside and hide it. Now we're going to make the front legs, and we're going to make 2 the same. So round 1, we're going to make a magic ring. And we're going to do 6 single crochet in the magic ring. So pull tight to close the magic ring. Round 2, we're going to do an increase in every stitch. So we'll have 12 stitches at the end of the round. So you can count and make sure you've got 12. Round 3, we're going to be working in the back loops only of each stitch. So the back loop is the one that's furthest away from you, so this one here, and we're going to do a single crochet in every stitch so that we still have 12 stitches. And what this does is it creates a flat base for the foot, and then it changes direction of the crochet, so it starts to go upwards. So take the marker out and do your last stitch in the back loop only. And you can see we've got those front loops there, and we're actually going to use those later on to make the toes. But now we're going to go back to working through both loops as normal. Round 4, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then we're going to do an invisible decrease, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 9 stitches at the end of the round. Rounds 5 to 7, that's 3 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 9 stitches. Okay, so I've done those rounds now, and you can use the end of your crochet hook to push that short tail inside. And you can count your rounds like this. So you can see your last decrease round and then 3 after that. Round 8, we're going to do an increase in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, so that we still have 9 stitches at the end of the round. And what we're doing here is, again, we're putting the increases on one side and the decreases on the other, and that gives the top of the front legs a curve. So the front legs are different to the back legs. Round 9, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. Then single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then invisible decrease. Then single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we still have 9 stitches at the end of the round. So you can use the end of your crochet hook to push it inside and just widen the crochet a little bit. And you can see we've got that nice curve now. And then we're going to fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. And then we're going to stuff it. So we're going to use the end of our crochet hook to push the stuffing inside. So just tear off small pieces at a time. I actually use the end of my scissors because I found that gripped onto it a bit better. So we just want to stuff the legs lightly and just curve it round so you're maintaining that curved shape. And then make the other front leg in exactly the same way. So I've left the instructions on the screen, and you can pause the video and meet me back when you've made the other leg. Okay, so I've made both front legs now. Now we're going to make the back legs. So I've left the instructions on the screen, and the back legs are a little bit different because the back legs are straight and they're not going to be curved. Okay, so I've made both back legs now. And you can see that the front legs are 1 round taller than the other legs, and that's because they've got a curve. So that won't matter when they go on the body, they'll still be level with each other. Now we're going to make the tail. So round 1, we're going to do 6 single crochet in a magic ring. Round 2, we're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 6 stitches. Round 3, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 9 stitches at the end of the round. Round 4, we're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 9 stitches. And we're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. And we're not going to stuff the tail, it's going to be flattened. And you can trim that short tail from the magic ring. And then just push the end inside to hide it. So now we're going to start pinning on all of the pieces so that we're ready to sew them on. So pin the neck to the curved edge of the front of the body between rounds 5 to 9. So count from round 1 on the body like that. And use about 4 pins. Then we're going to pin the front legs on across rounds 12 and 13 of the body, approximately 4 stitches apart. And they're going to be sewn on in a circle, so they're not going to be flattened at the end. And just make sure that the curve is the right way around. Then we're going to pin the back legs on across rounds 12 and 13 again, 4 stitches apart, in line with the front legs. Then we're going to pin the tail to the body between the back legs across rounds 12 and 13. So now we're going to sew each piece on by finding a loop from the surface of the stitches on the body. So just find the nearest loop to where you are and then go underneath both loops of the stitch on the piece. And then fasten off in the same way that we did before. And weave in the end, cut the yarn close to the edge of the work and push and use the end of your needle to push that in and hide it. So it's exactly the same with the legs. And then for the tail, we're not going to sew through both layers, we're just going to sew it across 2 rounds, going underneath the V of every stitch. So now we're going to make the shell in yellow, and this is exactly the same as the start of the body. So I'm going to leave the instructions on the screen and then you can meet me back when you've got to that point. So rounds 1 to 8 are exactly the same as on the body, but then on round 9 we're just going to single crochet in every stitch for just one round instead of 3. Okay, so I've done rounds 1 to 9. Now we're going to do the edge of the shell. So round 10, we're going to work in the front loops only, and we're going to do a double crochet in the next 32 stitches. So wrap the yarn around the hook, go into the front loop, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops, and that's a double crochet. So we're going to do that in 32 stitches. So I'll just show you a few more and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done those. Okay, so I've done those, and you can count and make sure you've got 32. Then we're going to do a slip stitch in the next 2 stitches, so still in the front loops. So go through the front loop, yarn over and pull through, and then pull that second loop through the first loop on the hook, and that's a slip stitch. And then slip stitch in the next front loop. And then we're going to do a double crochet in the next 14 front loops. So I'll just show you the first one, and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. So take the marker out and do your last double crochet in that front loop. Then we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch through both loops, just to finish it off so that it's rounded off nicely. And fasten off, but we don't need to leave a long tail because we're not going to use it for sewing, so just long enough to weave it into the back of the stitches later on. So you can see we've got these back loops remaining, and we're actually going to use those later on to sew them to the body. So now we're going to make the lines and the pattern on the shell. So cut a 3-meter long piece of brown yarn. So to do this, my tape measure was 150 centimeters, so I just doubled it over and then cut it. Because we're going to use this for making all of the lines on the shell and then also for sewing it onto the body. So tie a double knot in the end of it and then thread it onto your needle. So we're going to start at the top where those 2 slip stitches are, and we're going to come up from the underneath. And we're going to go behind those loops at the back because we need those later on, so we don't want to go through them. So just pull it through all the way until the knot is stopped, and then we're going to make another short line going across to where the other slip stitch is. So the base of the double crochet stitches is where our border is. So now we're going to come out 2 rounds below, and we're going to make 4 hexagons in a straight line. So we're going to be doing 6 edges. So we go back in where we came out of. And each hexagon is going to be 4 rounds long. So then we go over to the other side and come out making another diagonal line, and go back in at the start of that short top line. So now we've done half of the first hexagon, and now we come out in line with the short line at the bottom. and then go back in where you came out of. Then come out in line to do the other short line at the bottom. And one more line. Okay, so that's the first hexagon done, and now we're going to do the next one. So we're going to come out, leaving roughly 4 rounds for each hexagon. So come out in line with the corner edge of that first one. And go back in at this point. And then come out the opposite side in line with the other corner. And back in. So just count, make sure there's 4 rounds so that each hexagon is the same size. Now the third hexagon, which is going around round 1 of the body. So it's a bit harder to count your 4 rounds on this part, but just do it roughly. So now we're on to the 4th hexagon. And now we're just going to do half a hexagon. So we've just got 2 rounds of space left. So we're just going to do 2 diagonal lines. And make sure that you're going behind those loops on the back again, so that they're free to use later on. Okay, so now we've got 4 hexagons and half a hexagon, and now we're going to do those horizontal lines. So there are 3 on each side. So come out at this corner edge here, and then make a straight horizontal line going to the base of those double crochet stitches and making sure you go behind those loops. So now we're going to go upwards in a straight line to get to this point, which is in line with the other corner. So we've got a line on the inside there. So we're just crossing over to where we need to be, and then go back in here. Now that we're on this inside, we're going to come out through the next corner and do another horizontal line. So now we've done 3 on that side. And now we're going to come out at this point here. And we're going to start doing the border lines. So now we're going to repeat the same on the opposite side. So we'll do the 3 horizontal lines on the other side and then the border on the other side as well. So I didn't do a fourth horizontal line because I was looking at what tortoise shells look like, and they actually have this sort of different shape at the top end. So I did 2 lines so that it wasn't stretched like the first one I did, and it followed that border more smoothly like this. Okay, so now we've done that part, and now we can do the lines on the double crochet edge. So what I did for this was 1 line separating each 2 double crochet stitches. So I did 2 little short lines to separate those slip stitches to begin with. And again, just make sure you're going behind those loops. But don't worry too much if you get strands crossing over on the back, because we can just move them out of the way when we come to sewing. So for this first bit, it was more like 3 stitches, but then for the rest of it, it's 2 double crochet separated by a line on each side. So go underneath the V of the top of the stitch, and then go back down to the base of the double crochet and come out, leaving 2 double crochet stitches, and then go back under the V, straight in line of where you came out of. And just repeat this all the way around. And then I'll show you what to do when you get back to the start. So we're just doing the last couple of lines now. And this one goes where that slip stitch is. So now I'm just going to go through one of those loops, and we're going to leave the rest of this tail for sewing the shell to the body. And then we're going to weave this short yellow tail into the back of the stitches on the underside. So first of all, weave it through that loop just to get in a bit. And then pick up loops on the back of the double crochet stitches and just weave it through. And then trim the end. So now we're going to pin it to the body. So make sure that the slip stitch end with that indent is at the base of his neck in the middle, and push it down fully so it's touching all of the body all over, and just use quite a few pins on each section to pin it to the body. And this helps when sewing so that it doesn't move. So now we're going to thread the remaining tail onto our needle. and the part with the double crochet stitches is not going to be sewn down. So we're going to use these remaining loops that were left over. So we'll start at the top, at the back of the neck, and we're going to pick up loops from the surface of the stitches on the neck. So we just want to pick up one that's closest to where we are, and then we're going to go through the yellow loop that's nearest. And we're going to do this all the way around. So it's not all going to be sewn on the same round. We're going to be going down at an angle across the rounds, just so that we're picking loops nearest to where we need them to be. So when you get to the tail, we're actually going to sew it onto the tail itself. So that top round of the tail there, just in a straight line. And then back on to sewing it to the body. And then when we get back to the beginning, we're going to fasten off in the same way that we usually do, and then weave in the end through the body and cut the yarn close to the edge of the work, and use the end of your needle to push the end in and hide it. And then you can take all of those pins out. So now we're going to make the toes. So we want the tortoise to be upside down like this, and we're going to choose 5 of the remaining loops on the edges of the feet at the front. So this one on the right hand side is where we're going to start the toes. So push the hook in that front loop and pull up a loop of brown. Then we're going to chain 1 and slip stitch in that same front loop. So push the hook in, yarn over and pull through, and pull that second loop through the first loop on the hook. Then we're going to repeat the parting brackets until we've used 5 stitches. So chain 1, and slip stitch in the next stitch, then chain 1, slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1 and slip stitch in the next stitch, and chain 1 and slip stitch in the next stitch. And that's 5 loops that we've used now, so that's 5 toes. So you can pull on that short tail just to tighten it. And now we're going to fasten off and weave in the tails. And then we're going to repeat that on each leg. So still holding the tortoise upside down and working from right to left, and just choosing 5 stitches on each foot which are in line with each other and at the front. So weave in the tails through the leg and then cut the yarn and push the end inside. So this is where you would do the next leg and then the back legs. So there we have it, the tortoise is finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like and subscribe. I'd love to see a photo of your tortoise. You can share it with me by tagging me on Instagram at Laura_Wilson01. I also have an Etsy shop where I design and sell crochet patterns. I'll leave the link in the description if you're interested in that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.